Welcome back to my channel, Knitting by the Bay. My name is Christy, and this is my little place on YouTube where I like to talk about all things fiber arts, mostly knitting, sometimes cross stitch, sometimes sewing, or things I'm baking, or books that I'm reading, or whatever is bringing me joy at the moment. So thanks so much for joining me today. It's been a little while since my last video. I don't know what happened. I just got busy with things and I didn't end up recording anything. But I'm glad that I'm back again today because I have a lot of things to share with you. I wanted to start off the video talking about some of my knitting intentions that I had talked about in my last video. Knitting intentions and also just some personal, I guess, New Year's resolution type things. So the first one that I was trying to work on was getting back into running. And I'm happy to say that that one I've really stuck with since the beginning of January. And I've been running usually about 4 days a week, sometimes only 3 days a week. And it's been going really well. And I've actually decided that I think I'm going to sign up for my first ever run. It is, at first I had thought that I would do the 5K run. And now I'm seeing that I'm building up my time and everything. And so I think I'm going to actually go for the 10K run. So what I'm doing right now is just basically trying to add more time to my run. So my speed, I'm not really worrying about my speed, and I'm basically like an average runner. I wouldn't say I'm very slow, and I wouldn't say I'm really fast either. So I'm definitely not planning on winning any races. I just want to be able to complete the race. So right now I'm adding, every week I'm adding a little bit more distance to my run. So right now I am at 7 kilometers. So that is pretty awesome, I think, because when I started, I was only able, like when I started back in January, I was doing just a little bit. I would do walk for 2 minutes and then I would run for 3 minutes and until about a half an hour. And then every week I was just adding more and more time to the running portion and less time to the walking portion. And now I am at full on running for, like I said, it takes me about 42 minutes that it takes me to run the 7K, which I think is pretty average. So I'm happy about that. And I'm going to work my way up. And then the race or the run that I'm going to be doing is not until I think it's in July. I haven't actually signed up for it yet. So I have a lot of time once I get to being able to run that distance without stopping, then I'm going to maybe work on upping my speed a little bit. But I'm not really concerned about that. I'm more concerned about like my endurance, my being able to complete the race. I don't care what place I come in the race. So I'm very excited about doing that. And I feel like that has really worked out. Now, as far as my knitting intentions, one of my knitting intentions was that I was going to become a monogamous knitter, or I used to be a monogamous knitter, and then something happened to me and I just want to knit everything. So yeah, I was trying to get back to being a monogamous knitter. And I've completely failed at that. And one of the reasons I failed at that was because I realized that, yeah, it's good to work on one project at a time, but it's also good to have two different styles of, like, two different types of projects, because the one that I was working on was a cable knit, all over cable sweater. And that takes concentration, at least for me it does. And so that wasn't something that I could just like knit on in the car or whatever. So I told myself, well, you need to have another basic sort of stockinette project to work on. So then I cast on another project. And then when I started getting close to finishing my cable project, I'm like, well, you're going to need anyway, I finished two of those, and I've cast on another two. So right now I have about, I think, 3 things on the go, and I'm really, really wanting to cast on a 4th thing, but I'm holding myself back from doing that. So we'll see. I don't know. I mean, this is all just for fun. So the rules don't really, it doesn't really matter my intentions. I can do what I feel like doing at the time. So yeah, this is working for me, I think. So I totally not going with that intention anymore. And another one of my intentions was to read more and listen to more audiobooks while I'm knitting. And I've actually not done very well with that either because I really enjoy watching YouTube videos while I'm knitting. It's just, I find it very relaxing. You don't really have to totally pay attention. You can just have it on in the background, and also it gives you lots of inspiration, probably why I've got so many things, so many whips on the go right now. But anyway, I am still reading quite a bit because I like to read one physical book and then I will listen to an audiobook while I'm doing things around the house. Like if I'm vacuuming or whatever I'm doing, then I always have an audiobook on at the same time. So I am reading a lot. I'm just not doing it while I'm knitting, and that's okay too. And I think the last one was trying to commit more knitting things to memory instead of having to look them up all the time. So one of the things that I'm pretty much got down is the Italian bind off. So I've been doing a lot of that right now, finishing all my cuffs and the hems of all my sweaters that way. So I'm pretty good at that. I don't really have to look anymore. So I've got that one done. and that is it. So I think that is all I wanted to talk about. I did have some comments about the sound quality of my previous videos. So I picked myself up a little microphone. I'm hoping that that's going to help with this one. I don't know. It wasn't the most expensive microphone out there by any means. So, but I'm hoping that it will maybe take away some of the echoing quality. I'm filming this in my bedroom, and my dogs are outside, so I have to close the door because if anybody walks by, they go crazy and they start barking. So I wanted to try and keep the noise down in case that happens. So I think it does cause a bit of an echo in the room, but hopefully this microphone is going to help with that a little bit. I didn't really think about it because I am going to try on some of my finished objects, and I might have to move that. It might make some muffling noise, but I don't know. we'll do the best we can do. So that being said, I wanted to get into, actually, I'll tell you what I have to share with you today because it's not just knitting, but I am going to talk about all the knitting stuff at the beginning in case you're only here for the knitting, and then that's fine. But if you're interested in any of my other makes, then I'm going to have those at the end of the video. So I'm first going to talk about my finished objects, and I have two of them to share with you today, both of them sweaters. I also have, like I said, 3 whips on the go that I'm going to talk about and I'm really excited about. And I also have a couple of acquisitions of yarns that I picked up, or yarns that I have in my stash that maybe I want a little bit of your opinion of some projects that I could use that for. Maybe if you could help out with that, that would be great. And then I also have a really cute spring cross stitch project that I've been working on. And also a sewing project, which is a skirt that I started this week. So I'm almost finished that one, and I have to make some decisions about it because it didn't turn out exactly the way that I was hoping. It's not terrible. I still really like it, but yeah, maybe I could get your opinion on that as well. So if all that sounds like exciting stuff for you, please stick around and watch. So the first thing that I wanted to share with you is my Kinsella sweater. So I've ordered actually some labels that I'm gonna sew into some of my sweaters because I can never tell which is the front side. And this sweater, yeah, I can't really tell, but I do know because I made a couple of mistakes in the cabling on the back side of this sweater. So that's how I can tell which is the back. And they're very little mistakes, and maybe you could see them. I don't know, but I'm not too worried about it. But anyway, that helps me to figure out which is the front and which is the back. And I have all of my patterns, and this is how I organize my patterns in a big binder with clear sleeves. So I just put the whole pattern in one of the sleeves, and then and then when I want to knit it, I take it out of there. So my first one is called the Kinsella Cabled Raglan Pullover, and it's by Anna Moore for Brooklyn Tweed. And this one is a all over cable. It's knit bottom up flat, and then you seam it together. And what is it? It's a worsted weight yarn. And I can't remember exactly what needle size it was, but I know that I believe I had to size down. Why didn't I write this down? I don't know. But anyway, because I was getting once I changed the needle size, I was getting the right I was getting the right stitch gauge, but my row gauge was much bigger. Well, not much bigger, but bigger. So I had to do a little bit of math when I was going to do the raglan decreases for the sweater, because if I knit it the same way that they told me to in the pattern, it would just be very, very long up here because my row gauge was bigger. So I had to change that. And I was very lucky because some other wonderful Ravelry user had done the same thing, used the same yarn, and she put all her like helpful tips about it and how to change the decreases and everything. So I was very, very lucky to have that. And I have to say it worked out perfectly. So thank you so much to that user. So I knit this one in Cascades 220 Superwash in the color Frosted Almond. And I absolutely love this color. Like, it's exactly what I had in mind when I wanted to knit this sweater. And so I was very, very happy with that. It does seem to grow a lot when you block it. And it is a very heavy sweater with all the cables. It's worsted weight. And I find like it did stretch down a little bit. So this is what I did. And I don't recommend this, but it worked for me. And it worked for me on 2 sweaters using the same kind of yarn. So I wet blocked it. I put it out, pinned it out to dry. And then while it was still just a little bit damp, I put it in the dryer and I watched it every 10 minutes. I would open it up and look at it. And after, it took about a half an hour, and it ended up stretching out to the size that I really wanted it to be. So that worked out for me. I don't know. I know it's risky, but it did work, and it did shrink up a little bit. So I will take this off and I'll try it on. I don't know what I'm supposed to do with this right now, but I will hold on to it. Yeah, it's a bit tricky. So that is my Kinsella pullover. And I am finding that the collar is stretching out a little bit. So I just picked up some elastic thread that I'm going to put through this so that it comes up a little bit more. I did some modifications because of what the other knitter on Ravelry had suggested. And so I picked up more stitches for the collar. I'm not sure that I needed to do that. She was saying that hers got too snug, and I kind of don't mind it to be a tighter neck. Um, but I don't hate it at this size. I think it's like totally fine. But I don't want it to stretch out anymore. So I'm going to put that in. I haven't done it yet. But anyway, totally love this pattern. One thing that I talked about on my last podcast was how I really like things that are knit flat. I like the way they look. I don't know, something about it I really like. And I also like the fact that you don't have to carry around the entire sweater while you're knitting it. You can just knit on, you do the front, you do the back, and you have those separate pieces to carry around. It's not such a huge project. And this, because it's so heavy and everything, I really liked that I was able to just do it in pieces. When I worked on the sleeves, I did the back and then the front, and then I worked on the sleeves, and I actually cast them onto one. I did both sleeves at the same time on one super long circular needle. And I was so happy with doing it that way because I figured once I did one sleeve, I was not going to want to go back and do the other sleeve because this took a while. It took, I think I cast this on maybe I think mid-December. So it basically took me about 2 months to finish this. And by that point, I was getting kind of like tired of the same cable pattern and everything. So, yeah, doing them at the same time, I think was a good idea. And then once that was done, just seaming it and weaving in the end. So I was happy about that. I did not enjoy seaming this sweater together. And I think that I've changed my mind, which I said to you that I was going to come back and maybe have a different opinion about it, and I definitely do. I did not enjoy seaming this sweater together, and it doesn't look great on the raglans here. I did not do a great job, and I don't know, like maybe somebody can explain it to me, but on in this pattern, because you're knitting flat, it wants you to have a selvage stitch. So a stitch on the beginning and the end of the row. And it says to do that should be a knit stitch. And even when you're on the right side or the wrong side, it should be a knit stitch. So that basically makes that end there like garter, a garter stitch. And when I went to seam together, they give you a link to a video that teaches you how. It just didn't seem very helpful for me. And I watched other ones. Norman from Nimble Needles, I think it's called. I watched his as well, which was a really great video, but it tells you to pick up the bar that goes between the two rows of stockinette. Well, I didn't have that because of that selvage stitch. So it wasn't a neat place to like join together. It didn't feel that was the right thing. I don't know. And so I ended up just like sewing it together my own way, and I didn't do a great job. But honestly, I don't care. I do still love the sweater, and I showed it to my husband and he's like, "Oh, I didn't notice." And I think most people, unless you're a knitter, are not going to care about that or notice that or anything. So I have worn it out already a few times and gotten compliments on it, and yeah, I really love it. Am I going to knit this again? No. It took quite a while, but I do want to knit more cabled sweaters, and I think I'm going to try a cabled sweater in the round the next time. I have made them before, but I think I've done, excuse me, maybe 3 sweaters, and they were all knit flat. So anyway, I think there's some by Sori Nordland that I'd like to try. And yeah, I'm not really sure. So anyway, that's number 1. I'm going to pause the video here, and I'm going to take off the sweater and put on my next sweater instead of trying to mess with the mic. All right, so this is my second finished object. It is the Felix Pullover by Savory Knitting. And if you've been knitting for a while, you've probably seen this pattern because it's been made so many times. And I totally know why, because it was so much fun to knit. Such a easy pattern. Totally great for a beginner, and it knit up so fast. I could not believe, I think it took me a total of 10 days from start to finish with this sweater. And I was working on other items as well at the same time. So yeah, it was such a quick knit. So I knit this one in Berrocco vintage in the color rye, and I held it together with Knitting for Olive soft silk mohair in the color cloud. And this was, I believe, yeah, this was my first time using mohair. I thought that I was maybe allergic, or I don't know why I thought this, but it actually does not bother me at all. It feels so soft. Like this shirt that I have underneath is a scoop neck, so my whole like chest area is not bothered by it at all. I feel it's very comfortable, and I'm happy about that because that opens up more options for me. So that's exciting. And this one is, yeah, just have these beautiful, the raglan lace pattern here is so pretty. And yeah, I absolutely love this. It was super simple, super quick to knit. I would definitely knit another one of these. And yeah, I just trying to figure out what color. The neckline does stretch out quite a lot. It's supposed to be like that open. So I did get some elastic and I put it in there, which I like. So I think that that's working well. And yeah, I don't know really what else to say about it. I definitely recommend this pattern if you haven't knit it already. Yeah, sorry about the glare. I'll put up a picture of it on the screen. And yeah, that was great. So that was my second finished object. So now I will talk about my works in progress. So the first, what should we talk about? The first thing that I'm working on, is the, oh my gosh, I didn't bring it up with me. It is the Estelle jacket by Petite Knit, and I'll put a picture of that up here. And that's one of her newest designs. And it's a textured cardigan. Really cute. And yeah, I really wanted to knit this. At first, I have this yarn that I got a while ago for a different pattern, which I changed my mind about and frogged that. But I do have a lot of this yarn, which is the Lion brand Wool Ease. And this is the color Forest Green Heather. And yeah, I really like this dark, deep green. And so at first I thought I was looking for something to knit with it. And sorry about the glare again. I was considering doing the Flax, which is a simple modern pullover by Tin Can Knits, which is really a cute, simple, I think beginner friendly knit. And I kind of wanted just like a very basic, this one is stockinette stitch, and then you have garter stitch that goes down the arm. So really, really cute. It has a bit of detail, but pretty basic as well. And this is a free pattern, which is awesome. So I did print this out and I got started on it. And then I saw the Estelle jacket and I was like, I think that jacket would look really good with this Wool Ease yarn. So I frogged this one and I got started on the Estelle jacket. And I probably will come back and do that flax sweater again later with a different yarn. I don't know. But I did really like it. And if you're looking for a free beginner-friendly pattern, then I would definitely recommend that one. So this is what I've got so far on my Estelle jacket. And so this one has so much, I don't know if you can see, yeah, all the texture there, which is just knit and purl stitches to get all those different textures. And yeah, I love it. It's knitting up really fast. So when I started it, you start on the back, and I couldn't believe how quick it was knitting up. It was so fast and very easy to understand. Pretty easy to understand. There are a few things in the pattern that confuse me a bit, but once I got past that, pretty easy to understand. But then once you are joining under the arms here, it seemed to really slow down a lot because you're going all the way around the sweater. But still, it's very quick. It's a worsted weight yarn. So yeah, it's knitting up super fast. And I'm really enjoying this one. And I've ordered some really dark wooden buttons for it, which I think will look really nice on this. So that is the Estelle jacket by Petite. And now another one that I'm working on is called the Semper sweater V-neck, and this is by the Knit Purl Girl. And this is just a very basic V-neck sweater. I don't really know what else to say about it. I wanted something very simple and that was sort of lightweight in a way, like very drapey and stuff, which it definitely is. And I just, I wanted it to be a little bit cropped. So that's where I'm at right now. I just cast off with an Italian bind off last night, and now I've got to pick up stitches for the sleeves. So yeah, this one I'm knitting in, knitting for Olive, Merino, and Mohair in the color Dusty Aqua. And I really, when I saw this color, I was researching a lot on Ravelry with other projects using this Dusty Aqua, and I totally fell in love with this color and loved all the projects and everything. And I went and I picked it up. I talked about that in my last, oops, touching my microphone, sorry. I talked about that in my last episode, that I picked it up, and I absolutely loved it. So one thing is that I was trying to figure out what my color palette is. And I've talked about this as well in my other episodes. And I'm pretty sure I'm a summer. And I was thinking I'm either a soft summer or a true summer. And this is definitely a soft summer color. And now that I'm knitting this up and I'm trying it on, I feel like it's not exactly the right color for me. And I don't hate it. And I think it still works, but I feel like it's a bit drab on me. And so that kind of upset me a little bit. I was trying this on last night and I was thinking like, this didn't turn out the way that I was hoping, what I had in my mind. And yeah, it kind of disappointed me a little bit. And another thing, I really don't enjoy knitting with fingering weight yarn. And I mean, you're holding this with the Mohair, but it's, very like fine weight. And I think I've made the decision that I actually really enjoy knitting worsted weight yarn. I don't really like the feel of this. I don't really like the feel of this when I'm wearing it. It just feels too light. I don't know how to explain it. Like, I want a sweater that feels like substantial, I guess. And I don't know. It's not even about the warmth. It's just the fabric. I really enjoy knitting with the worsted weight yarn and just seeing the fabric that it makes. This, I don't love as much. And I don't love using the smaller needles, any of that. I get a lot of I have cuts on my finger, like not really cuts, but scratches from the yarn on my finger. I don't know what that's from, if that's just I'm knitting too much or if it is from this fingering weight yarn. But anyway, I'm not super duper happy with this. And it has absolutely nothing to do with the pattern because the pattern is amazing. It's so well written. She gives you so many instructions, but not too many that it's overwhelming, but she totally explains things very clearly. So I do feel like this is also another great sweater for a beginner. And yeah, if it was in a different weight of yarn, I probably would want to knit another one. But I don't know. I don't know. I really like the fabric of this together with the Berrocco yarn and the, because the worsted weight yarn with the mohair. I really like this sweater. But I don't like the fingering weight and the mohair together. I don't know. Maybe I need to try different patterns or something, but like I said, I love this pattern. And yeah, I don't know. I kind of got a little unmotivated last night with this when I was trying it on, and I sort of set it aside and decided to cast on something else this morning. But I am definitely going to come back and finish that for sure. I feel like it's such a waste of yarn at this point, but I do want to finish it. So I am going to finish it, I promise. But this morning I decided to cast on another sweater, and this is another one by Petite Knit, and it is called, oh my gosh, did I get this one? I didn't get this one, so I'm going to pause and I'm going to go grab it. Okay, so I got my pattern, and this one is called the Terrazzo sweater by Petite Knit, and it's just I'll put a picture of it. It's a basic sort of stockinette stitch sweater with a turtleneck on it, a folded turtleneck. And I really just wanted something, sort of a basic, a staple in my wardrobe. So that's what I'm going for here. And so far, so good. But I mean, I've only just started on it. I just started this this morning. So yeah, not a ton. And I am using this wool, which is called Cascades 220, but it's non-superwash. And it is in the color, I have this here. This is the color, don't have my glasses, but 9674, which is pine, deep pine maybe. But it's such a nice green. Like, green is my favorite color. It's very different from this green. It's a lot more blue. And this one, I really do like this one, but this one's a bit of a warmer green. It has little flecks of sort of yellow underneath. It does have flecks of blue in it as well, but you can see some yellow as well. Not a lot, but if you look close. And whereas this one is very blue-green, deep blue-green. And I think that this is going to be one of my favorite colors. That is it for my whips on the go right now. And now I'm going to talk about some of the things that I picked up. So last weekend we went to this little store slash farm, which it was funny because we were just in town at our favorite coffee shop that we go to, and we were waiting for our coffees, and my husband saw this business card sitting on the table, and it was for this wool shop slash alpaca farm, and not too far away from where we live. So yeah, we made a plan to go last weekend to go and visit and check it out, because I've never heard of it, and it's not very far away from us. And yeah, so when I tried to look it up on the internet, there's no website for it. There's no, I think she might have had a Facebook, but I couldn't find any Instagram or anything about it. So we just had to show up. So we did. We showed up, and I guess the time on when I looked it up on Google, it said they were open at 11, but it was actually supposed to be 12. So anyway, we got there about, I think it was maybe 11:30 or something, and it was closed, but it's a farm as well. So there were there were farm dogs out there. I think they had to, can't remember the name of those dogs, the big white ones that are really great guard dogs were there and like saying hello to us. And there were chickens everywhere. There were, what else? We could see the alpacas in the distance and whatever. And I thought, it did say on the website or on her Facebook, it said like to call if you coming by, if you wanted to come by. So I gave her a call and she's like, oh, I'm actually 5 minutes away from home. I'll be there. But if you want to go, and you can go look in the barn and look at the animals if you want, which was really nice. So we just like walked around and we saw, like, we went into the barn, which was like, she has a storefront and right attached to the store is the barn. And so we went in through the back, and then all of a sudden, like, all of these alpaca came into the barn to see us because I guess they thought we were going to feed them. And there were also chickens in there. There was, what else was in there? There was a sheep. There were sheep. There was, and then like once they all started to come in, then other animals came in. A little donkey came in as well. So it was really, really cute. And I took a little video, and yeah, I'm going to show you that little video because it was such a beautiful shop. The owner was so friendly, so nice. And it was just such a nice little visit to go on. So I'm going to show you the little video. It's a quick little video of our morning there. And then I'll be back. So while we were at the store, I picked up some of this, which is, oh, I don't even think I mentioned the name of the store. So it's called Wild Roots and Twisted Fibers, and it's in Penetanguishene, Ontario. And yeah, so I picked up some of this yarn, which says ethically, locally, and holistically raised 100% natural fiber from happy, healthy animals. And so this is 100% alpaca. And yeah, it's so super soft. And I just loved, like, it's off-white. It's just natural, the natural wool. There's no dye. So, and then there's like little flecks of like vegetation, I guess she called it. Just little pieces of grass or hay that are in the yarn. And I just really thought it was like so beautiful, so soft. And yeah, I was really happy to like support her. She was talking about, I think she was only in business for maybe a year or something. And she was talking about having workshops there. One of them that interested me was rug hooking workshop. So I'm on her mailing list now. So hopefully I'm going to hear about that and maybe go and take one of those workshops. Would be really fun to learn about rug hooking. I probably don't need another hobby at this point, but I don't know. Sounds interesting. I'd like to go. As well, she had, soaps, handmade soaps that she made, candles. There were wooden bowls made out of birch bark that were absolutely beautiful. And those were items that she sourced from local Ontario crafters, And she talked a lot to us about wanting to keep all Ontario Ontario items in her shop. And she was saying it's really hard because you see a lot of things that you could get wholesale for your store that are really cool, but she wants to keep this very local artisan shop, which I really liked. And she ended up, I bought a bar of soap, which I don't have here right now, but it was like eucalyptus soap that she made with goat's milk. And she threw in another bar of soap that was bergamot scent, and it was so nice. And she threw that in for free, which was so sweet. And then she also talked about how she's really busy at this time because she's out tapping all her maple trees for maple syrup and making the syrup and everything, which she doesn't sell in the shop, but she just does it for her own supply. But that was really nice. I was like telling her this would be my dream. I would love to have this sort of setup. And she's like, oh, really? I'm like, I'm not in any position to do that, but that would be a dream of me and my husband, actually. So it was really nice to find that shop. And so now I'm thinking of what to make with this yarn. I had asked her like the weight of the yarn, and she didn't know what the weight was. And she said she's not a knitter herself. She started off with farming alpacas, and then this sort of the yarn sort of came about after. And so I did do a gauge swatch with this, and I'm thinking that it is a sport weight yarn. So I wound up one of the skeins already, but I got 4 of them. So I'm thinking to make the I haven't purchased this pattern yet, but it's one by Isabel Kramer, and it is called Yule Dew, and it's a sport weight color work yoke pattern, and it's one that she released, I think, around the holiday time, obviously Yule Dew. And it has trees on it, and then it has dreidels as well. But it doesn't, depending on what yarn you use, it doesn't necessarily look like just a holiday sweater. Like I think it can look just like a color work, like pattern sweater. It looked really pretty. And I also have some leftover Malabrigio yarn that I used a little while ago for my husband's hat, and it's a beautiful, you know, greenish, my favorite color, yarn that is like changes color throughout. And I thought that would look really pretty with this yarn. So I don't know. I'm thinking about that because I don't think I have enough to just do a solid sweater. But definitely if I use that leftover for the color work, then I would have enough. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see. And that one I'm not really, I kind of want to work on these 3 that I have going on before I think about casting that on. But I can't make any promises because I kind of am itching to do some more color work because it's been a little while since I've done that. And I definitely want to take a break from cables for a little while after that Kinsella. So that is that. And then I also picked up some of this, which is the Lion Brand Fisherman's Wool. And I think I heard about this wool on the podcast Wool Needle Hands. And Taylor, the host of that podcast, was talking about this, and she said that this is like a really great yarn. Like it's very, very inexpensive, but it's 100% wool, and it is, undyed, just the natural color. And this one, what color is this? This is called Brown Heather. And it's a very, very soft, grayish sort of brown. And I don't Oh, I thought this was really nice. I had first thought maybe to do the Estelle jacket in this yarn, but then I changed my mind because I thought that I wanted, well, I wasn't really sure what I wanted, to be honest. I think that I might want to make another friendship pullover by Amy Sher, which I made last year in, I don't know, in the spring, I think, of last year, which I just absolutely love that pattern because it's so, like, it's a very easy, well-written pattern, but the shape of it is just so great. I love that sweater. I actually wear that sweater all the time. And yeah, I was thinking, part of me was thinking maybe I will do that sweater is just as a raglan sleeve sweater with, you can do a folded over collar. I didn't, I just did like a longer collar. And then it has a cable panel just up the front. So you've got like a lot of basic stitching, and then you just have this one cable. And I thought maybe I would come up with my, like, not my own cable, but I have the Nora Gaughan's book. I forget what it's called. It's her cables book. And I thought I could pick a different cable pattern out of there and use that instead. So I might still do that. And I think it would look really great in this yarn. But if you've knit with this fisherman's wool before and you have a pattern that you think would knit up really nice in it, I would love if you left a comment, a suggestion. That would be awesome. Because I've been looking through a whole bunch of patterns, and I don't know, we'll see. But I don't need anything else really right now, but I do want ideas if you have any. All right, so I think that is all of the knitting related content that I have for you today. So thank you so much if you're only here for the knitting, thank you so much for stopping by and watching today. And if not, I have, a few other projects to share with you that I've been working on. So I'm just going to have a drink of water and I'm going to be right back. All right, thanks so much for sticking around to see what else I've been working on. You guys are my favorite people for sure. So this is my cross stitch pattern called Blooming Wellies, and this is one that I designed for my own shop, which is called Dear Suki Crafts. So this is one of my own designs, and I will link everything down below if you are interested in cross stitch and you want to check out my different patterns. You can go there. I have a lot of patterns. I've been designing them for since I think, oh my gosh, when was it? Maybe 2015 or something? For quite a while now. That's a long time. Anyway, I have a lot of patterns on there. If you wanted to check them out, it's all linked down below. But anyway, this one is going to be, obviously it's some rain boots. And then there's going to be a floral bouquet up here with some butterflies, some hummingbirds, and then it says, "Hello, Spring." And it's all framed with like a checkerboard type frame. And I'll put a picture up of what the finished pattern looks like so you can see. So this is how much progress I've got so far. I'm hoping to get this one done for the first day of spring, and then I'm hoping to frame it maybe and put it up in my kitchen or something. I'm not really sure, but it's a fun, pretty quick pattern to do. It uses 20 colors of DMC thread, and I've done it on this. It's just white 18 count Aida cloth. You can use whatever count of fabric you want, depending on what size you'd like for the finished item. But anyway, yeah, it's stitching up pretty quickly, and it is intended for as like a spring stitch with the Hello Spring on it. But you could just leave that off if you don't want something that's necessarily seasonal. You can just stitch the boots with the flowers, and that would still look great. So it doesn't have to just be a spring cross stitch. Yeah, so that's what I've got started so far. So I've got today is, oh my gosh, I don't even know what day of March it is today. But anyway, I still have a little bit of time left before the first day of spring. So that's been a lot of fun. Another thing that I've got going on is a sewing project, which is this pattern by Berta. And I've made the longer skirt. I made that last year, which turned out really well. And this is the pattern number 6252. And yeah, it's by Berta Style. And it's an easy, they're saying an easy pattern. And it is a very easy pattern. So I am this time working on the mini skirt. And I thought it's so cute. And I picked up this fabric quite a while ago. It is a corduroy, but it has sort of a sheen to it. And it's, like, I wouldn't say it's gray. It's sort of a grayish, I guess. There's like a bit of brown in there, but it shines, and it's very, very soft and sort of velvety with the shine to it. I don't know how to describe it, but it's great. It's pretty thick, but not too thick. And anyway, yeah, that's the inside. I don't have a serger, so I just zigzag stitch over the raw edges, and that's fine. I decided to take off the sweater to show you how the skirt looks. So this is it so far. I don't know if you can really see that very well. I'll stand up. Yeah. So it's going to have, I still need to put the other side of the waistband on, and then these edges will be turned in. And then it's just going to have snaps that go down there. So I'm trying to decide if I want to put silver snaps or if I want to put black snaps on it. I don't know. Haven't made up my mind yet. And I thought it would be a really cute skirt to have to wear with my some black tights and a black turtleneck sweater with some tall boots. That's sort of my idea. One thing that I'm not really happy about is this, oh, I can't remember what piping that's here. And I made my own piping, and I think the cord that I used to put inside the piping is too thick, and it's sort of, with this fabric, it just stands out too much. I don't know. I did the same thing with my other skirt, the long skirt, and used the same cord, but that fabric was a lot thinner, so it didn't stick out as much. I don't know. I kind of don't mind it too much. I will be folding this over and stitching. You stitch in the, what's it called? The crease here. That might help to hold it down a little bit more. Otherwise, I might just take this off and take the piping out and just put the the waistband on without it. I don't think that that would really make a big difference. I think it would look fine, but I'm not sure if I want to go through that work or not. I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, I'm pretty happy with how it's turned out so far. I think it's gonna look cute. I was hoping to have this done more for like winter because soon I won't be able to wear this with tights, and it's way too short to wear without tights for me anyway. And yeah, but I think it's something that I would always want to wear. So yeah, I'm happy with that project. And I think that is it for today. That was probably a pretty long video again. Um, one of the other reasons why it took me so long to make this video was because I do have another finished object. I'm just waiting for the buttons to arrive. And I don't know, for me, I really want to have the buttons on and it completely finished before I share it with you. So I've been holding off and waiting for them to arrive, and they still haven't come. So note to self, definitely order your buttons like right at the beginning when you're starting your project, because this is taking a very, very long time for them to arrive. I wasn't expecting that. But anyway, I will have that, hopefully have that to share with you for my next video. So I'm excited to share that one, and then hopefully some more soon, some more finished objects. So anyway, thank you so much for stopping by and watching the video today. I hope that you got some inspiration from some of these projects. And yeah, thank you so much. I will see you next time. Bye.